last time we caught up, I said I had a 2-week break and I would be able to use that to get everything together and get ready for the next markets, which would be 2 weeks from last weekend, so next weekend, and then the following 4 weeks. Booked almost right up to Christmas. I think I maybe get the couple of weeks off beforehand. Anyway, that was my plan. And then so I started recording just like vlog stuff while I was at work because I actually took some stuff to do at lunchtime. It's Monday morning and it is currently lunchtime at work. And so even though I said I would never do it, I'm doing it. And I'm going about it in a quite disciplined way. I brought a bag of Aldi yarn. So I bought some of the variegated. I bought a yellow and a blue, so just as a contrast for the two variegated ones I bought. And it is such a nice day. I should be sitting outside doing this, but yeah. I am being super disciplined. I have a timer set, and when that timer goes off, I will put down my hook and I will go back to my desk where I will sit and work until it's time to take another break. And I will put this stuff out of my eye line so that I am not in the slightest bit tempted to pick it up and do it again. I've got a little loaf kitty on the hook there, popping out in that Aldi yarn, which always reminds me of raspberry mango or raspberry passion fruit sauce. Nice, easy makes. I've got 11 of those to restock. So that's it, Monday lunch. See what happens later in the week. And then Monday was as far as I got. Tuesday I was out all day on an excursion with the kids, and then Wednesday, because I am so stupid old, I had to stay home and let my back recover from a bushwalk down the side of a very small hill. But I'll have you know that the stairs were not regular heights. Some of them were smaller, some of them were really big that you sort of had to go down sideways. There was little bits of loose ground and stuff, and as well as watching my feet, I was watching all the kids. So I have a reason why I am so old and decrepit and needed a day off afterwards. Then I think it was possibly sometime on the Wednesday, I got an email saying, oh, hey, if it's not too late, we'd like to offer you a spot at this market on the weekend. And I had applied for this market, I don't know, early September, I think. And I said to them, look, I don't want to come September, October, but November, please. And I thought, with the market being on this weekend, that no, they weren't going to have me. And so, I got an email saying, hey, there's a market. So guess who doesn't have 2 weeks? Yeah, guess who had a market last weekend and sold the biggest number ever and has another market this weekend and then for the following 5 weeks? Yeah, me. So who's stupid? Me. I'm going to do it anyway? You betcha. Guess who then has been busy making stuff, because there were some things that I know will sell. I don't need to restock all 51 things because I still have quite a fair bit of stock, but I did have to go over a few. So what I thought I might do is, because there's another thing that I have to talk about too. Anyway, what I've got to do is, because this market is a completely new one for me, it's in a new area, I've got to go and pack my car and head over to my mother's house, because she is 5 minutes away from the market and I'm about 30 to 40 minutes away from the market. So I'm going to stay at her place tonight so that I don't have to get up so early, and I can just nip up the road and get organised. So I thought I'd show you everything just in case it all sells and I don't get a chance to take photos at markets because I'm a little bit garbage at doing the capturing footage at markets. So I have got a whole bunch of loaf cats because I sold 11 of the mini cats last week. So I'm just going to go through them quickly. I did a couple at school. So showed you that one already. Did I? I think I did. Did that one at school. That's just Aldi variegated. Then another Aldi variegated one, and I decided to, even though I despise colour changes with a passion, I decided to do some of the colour changes there. And so we got that guy. He's Aldi. This one is Aldi. This is the fruit salad one that I love. Turning out stripy, that one and the blue one. And then I have a plain black one because the black ones tend to go. Little pause. I did this one and I don't like it, but somebody might. It's just black and grey, but what I don't like is when you get those colour crumbs when you're doing the colour changes. Not a fan of that. Anyway, there's that. Whoops-a-daisy. There's that guy. And then I did this one, which is a mix of it's a mix of a really old, so it's sewing basket stuff. It's a mix of a really old orange yarn and a white, very thin chenille. So I like that one with these little white feet. And then this one I'm not real sure about, but so this is a yarn I got from the sewing basket. I double stranded it to make it a little bit thicker. But the scruffy ones do tend to go, and this one's got a better shape than some of the other scruffies that I made. So hopefully someone will love that one. I just did a plain yellow one. I was actually thinking of making a pineapple cat and, giving it a bunch of green leaves for the tail. Just didn't get there. And I just thought I'll just stick with a nice plain yellow. Yellow doesn't go so great, but you never know. You never know. I've got almost every other colour. I thought I'd better do a yellow. I've got a green. I've got a blue, and that's in a velvety thing from Spotlight. I think his tail's a little bit limp, but that's okay. Nothing fancy on him. He's just all blue. So those are all of my little loaf cats. I haven't counted them. There's another one on the floor. Can't be bothered going to pick it up. I'll show it to you later if I get a chance. So those are going in my small section. I've also got a couple, and I haven't finished them yet, but I've got a couple of chickens. They're going to be keychains. I've just got to put the little gold chains on the top before I go. So then in my next section, which is my mids, I caught up on 2 bees, just your average garden variety, no pun intended, little loaf bees. I used, so these are just normal, these are just the normal black safety eyes, but I had some of the spare backs from the sinker eyes, and so I put them on there and it sucked his eyes in and made them all cute and indented. So I've done that on both of those guys. So there's 2 little fat bees. Don't know why his wings are up. I can fix them. Anyway, his wings are fine. So 2 little bees ready to go into my mid section. And then I was making a big fat pig and I had some yarn left over, so I made a little fat piglet. His ears are in the wrong place, so I'm not sure how that's going to go, but yeah, his ears just turned out way too low, and I can't unpick it and redo them because I've got no more yarn left. I had to scrimp and save on the feet to be able to get the yarn in there for the head. But anyway, I might be able to just get some cotton or something and just pin them up there a little bit higher. Anyway, so little fat piglet to go with big fat pig whose ears are in the correct place. So that's just my pattern, and if you don't have my pattern yet, you've got a really short time to get it at the sale. It's ending on midnight Sunday Australian time. Check my Instagram. There's a countdown on one of my stories. 30% off all of my patterns to celebrate 300 subs on YouTube, but now I'm actually up to about 320. So thank you, everybody. So yeah, big fat pig. This is the yarn that I showed you that I got from the sewing basket last week. It's just, I have no idea what it was. There was 200 and something grams of it for $5. So out of that, I got big fat pig and little fat piglet. So my pattern, random freehand, which is why the ears are in such a stupid spot. Anyway, I also replaced my chunks, my strawberry cat and my watermelon cat. I've only made one of each because time, and they actually go. They always go. Doesn't matter what size I make them, the strawberry and the watermelon cat always go. And just to go with them and use up some of this awful yarn. Awful yarn. This is the sparkly stuff that we get from Spotlight. You might as well be working with a rope off a bloody cruise ship. I tell you what, this stuff is horror on your hands. Anyway, let's not go there. So this is just a plain blue. I used some of those eyes that I showed you last week, and to make them not look so starey, I just added some little eyelids there. So he's a bit of an unusual cat, but anyway, he's the same size as the strawberry watermelon one, just the same. I don't use a pattern for them, they're just freehand. But I managed to get them the same size because I've got a notebook where I keep standards. Now, when I was on the excursion with the kids, and if you are not local, by excursion I mean field trip, where you pile a bunch of school kids on a bus and take them somewhere educational. It actually was really educational, which they didn't really care for very much because their idea of an excursion is to go somewhere and have fun. Our idea is that they're going there to learn. Anyway, because I was trapped on a bus and like 45 minutes there and it was a bit over an hour back, I thought I'll take some yarn with me because we're in a coach, we've got seatbelts on, can't really do much else. I can supervise the kids around me, and every now and then I, take off the seatbelt, have a walk around, do a little bit of yelling. But I took some yarn with me and I got the majority of this guy made. So this is just some Aldi yarn. I did the belly, the head, 2 arms and part of a leg on the bus, and then I just had to assemble it when I got home and do the ears. So this is just a freehand bear. There's no pattern. It's just a basic bear shape. You can see all the parts. Little ears on the top there, a little bit of a muzzle, and then I like to finish off the necks with just a little bow. So that's tied in a knot, so that's not going to come off. Embroidered eyes, embroidered nose. So if a baby wants to eat it, they can. I haven't put a tail on this one, didn't even think of it, but anyway. So that will go in my fancy chonks at some individual price that I have not yet decided. So then I was sitting around yesterday wondering, even though I've got 51 things to make up, what else I could make. So I said to Tracy, I've got 51 things to make and I don't know what to make. And she said, why don't you have a go of the bear in a hoodie? So I had a look at the pattern for the bear in a hoodie and I thought, okay, I'll have a go of the bear in the hoodie. So thank you, Tracy, for pointing me towards that pattern. That's a pattern by Nooks Hooks. Nooks Hooks shop on Etsy, Nooks Hooks on Instagram. I'm sure you will have seen this pattern around. Anyway, it is this bear with a hoodie. I like the end product. I didn't enjoy the process one little bit, and I did enjoy the process one little bit because of me. I am not critiquing the pattern in any way. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the pattern. I have preferences for how I like to go about things, and the pattern wasn't written in that format, but also probably the biggest thing was I tortured myself by using more of that bloody sparkle yarn. So this entire thing was a battle, and it took me at least 4 hours. I'm thinking probably closer to 5.5, but I'll just say 4 to be safe, which is way too long for something like that. The green yarn was fine. The green yarn is actually one of the Motiveras. It's discontinued, thank you, Spotlight. But this is just that yellow with the rose gold coloured sparkles in it, and I like it. It's cute enough. The little beanie, the little hoodie comes off, and you've got a little teddy bear there. Now, this is not a separate piece, so this is all made in one, and you add the cuffs on to make it look like it's a separate jacket. There's little holes there in the hood for his ears to poke out. So as I said, the pattern is made to be low sew. It is actually a relatively easy pattern. It was super duper hard for me because of that yarn, and also because I've lost my favourite hook that I would have used, and I had to use some stupid plastic thing. So I did make my life incredibly difficult, and my hands are killing me today because of that. So yeah, the pattern is made to be no sew. So if I was going to be making this again, I would, so the ears are surface crocheted, I would do them separately and stitch them on because that's what I prefer. The nothing wrong with any other part of it. This is doing these things where you do one leg, then you do the other leg and then join them together. I don't like doing that for some reason. Don't know. Arms were fine, although now I can't get it out of my head that that's a little elf's head or a little Santa head. Anyway, that was fine. The head was fine. Everything was fine. One part of the instructions did say, because you don't sew the hood on, it has you just like you make a hole. And anyway, I'm not supposed to give that stuff away, but the only thing I would change is the way that it said to do the head. I might actually, because I don't mind sewing, I would probably do the head separately next time. But look, that's a great pattern, and the pattern is really clear, it's really thorough, it's got loads of pictures and it's got loads of mods so that you can make lots and lots of different things. So I'd say I don't regret having pattern. I regret my choices in yarn and the fact that I've lost my 7. Did I mention that I've lost my 7? Oh my God, I've lost my favourite 7. I've turned my house upside down. I can't find it. Anyway, so look, I do like it, and I said to Tracy yesterday, because as I said, I was shell-shocked. I don't think I would make another one, but I probably will. I'll just be a little bit more discerning about the yarn that I use and not use this stupid velvet rope stuff. Anyway, kind of cute, but I'm an idiot. So that's it. That's all I've managed to make this week. The other bizarre thing that happened this week, as well as being invited to a market that I wasn't prepared for, which I'm running a little bit late to get to my mother's house to get all set up. The other thing that happened this week was something about last weekend's video tickled the YouTube algorithm's fancy, and as of now, which is 6 days after I uploaded it, it has over 1,000 views. And I'm stunned. I was stunned when it got to and I'm watching it go from 400 to 500, and then it was going from 5 to 550, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is like, my videos don't get that. I mean, if you look back through my collection, my videos get around 200. Some of them get 100, and I understand why those ones don't. But yeah, I averaged out 200 views. Last weekend's video had 1,000, and as of this morning, 1,004 views, and I am stunned. I don't know I looked into why, and it's like, well, the algorithm tested it with this audience, and depending on the patterns of viewing and blah blah blah, it puts it out to different audiences, and it makes it more visible in the searches, and it makes it more visible as a pop-up in people's feed, recommended videos kind of thing. So there's all sorts of algorithmy reasons around it, but I would just like to say thank you to every single one of the 1,000 people who stopped by, and even if you just dropped in and out and said, yeah, no, not for me, I'm thrilled to bits that you even gave me a shot. The analytics that I've been looking at are saying that a lot of those 1,000 people are staying to watch a decent chunk, which is fabulous. Thank you so much again. And the analysis is looking like because it was a market video. So lucky if that's why you clicked my button. I have another 4 or 5 weeks of markets. There is going to be a definite desert when it comes to markets after about mid-December, because the markets here don't operate during late December or through January, because it's our summer holidays. There may be something random at the end of January, but probably they won't start up again till February. But if it's anything like it's been so far this last month or two, I am going to be able to pick and choose from a few markets. So I do have a few other things that I wanted to talk about, but for now, it is Saturday afternoon. I have to pack up all this stuff I just showed you, collect everything that I need for markets, pack all of my market gear, my gazebo, my stuff in the car, head over to my mother's, and then I've got to get all of these things out because I've got to tag all this stuff. The ones that have safety eyes, I put little warning tags on. I would show you one, but there's none here. And then I want to put some price tags on a few things, and I want to take some price tags off a few things because I've changed my pricing structure, which you'll probably notice tomorrow. Hopefully the people are looking to spend their hard-earned dollars so that I can then spend their hard-earned dollars. I will catch you after the markets or during the markets tomorrow. It's market morning. It's about 9 o'clock. Setup took 2 hours this time, but I wasn't rushing, and it did take me a little while to get the gazebo up because I'm actually on really smooth concrete, and I've never set up on something where the gazebo doesn't slide around as I'm trying to set it up, so that took me a little bit longer. It's absolutely dead. I've sold one leggy frog, but it's cloudy, it's Sunday. I don't think people are going to get out of bed anytime soon. There's also an event on the main highway here, so the highway will be closed going south, so that will limit the number of people that actually can get into this area unless they come around the long way. I don't know what this market's usually like. There doesn't seem to be many people here, so we could go either way at the moment. Just maybe have to wait and see until it's a little bit more get up and go out o'clock. There's been a few people coming in. 2 little boys just came in and they wanted to buy my tablecloths because my tablecloths were so soft, and I'm okay with that. They didn't buy anything, but I gave them some candy to take away with them. So I don't know if I'm in a good position. I'm in a better position than where they were going to put me. I'm the last stall, so I'm just going to turn the camera around. I'm the last stall, so there's nobody there. I'm in the shade of a big retirement home, but I'm also right near an entrance, so if people come in and out of this entrance down here where you can see that white car, that's not bad. I'll show you my stall later. It looks exactly the same as it always does, but the rest of the stalls all head up this way around into the open area. I don't know if you can actually hear properly now, but anyway. Yeah, so super quiet start. We'll see how it goes, and I'll probably check in with you just a little bit later. Midday now. It's warmed up just a little, but you can see behind me it's overcast. It's a very slight breeze. It's not a bad day. As far as markets goes, it's a bit of a disappointment after the last couple of weeks, but the last couple of weeks have been pretty outstanding. I didn't actually have high hopes for this one, mind you. When do I ever? But yeah, this one's. I mean, look, it's better than it was looking this morning. I've sold, let me double check. I haven't actually counted yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've sold 14 things, which, that's not bad because at my other regular markets, I think my last time I had, was it 20, 16, something like that. Last week's 51 was an outlier, really it was. But yeah, there's lots of people coming and going. Loads of people coming in, and you know that as soon as they say, oh my god, you're so creative, or oh my goodness, it's so cute, that they're not going to buy anything. The people who just are a little bit more serious about buying things just sort of get on with it. I've had my fair share of the people who come in and squish every single thing, plus the kids who come in and rearrange everything for you. And I've just had a lady spill her snow cone on my tablecloth. Accidents happen, but don't come into a stall with stuff like this and then get close enough to the tables to spill your drink, ladies and gentlemen. My parents stopped in for a little while to visit, which was nice, and now I'm just sort of sitting here. I've got something on the hook, but I'm bored. It's snack time when you're bored. Anyway, I have nothing really to report. I did sell a couple of things that were a bit unexpected, so I'll show you the photos of those later on. But nothing really outstanding is happening today. I have made my stall cost back. I have made 3 times my stall cost so far. So, that's okay. That's into profit. Not great profit, but I'm not in it for a business. I'm in it just to have fun making stuff and selling stuff to make people happy with it. It has given me a few spaces to fill. So, yeah, market's coming up the next few weeks. I'm not going to be panic making each week now. So, anyway, enough rambling. I will catch up with you later. We've got 1 hour to go. Hopefully it picks up a little bit, but I have my doubts now because it's about wind down time. So, anyway, we'll see. Well, here we are again. It is another aftermarkets video, and I think it is how many in a row? I have to check. Hang on. What's today? Today is the 2nd, so 1, 2, 3, 4 markets in a row. And I was expecting to have this weekend off, but turns out no. So yeah, how did it go? Yeah, it was okay. If I'd done this number of sales and taken this much at my regular market before I was totally spoiled the last 2 weeks, I probably would have been pretty happy with that. And I'm not complaining by any means, but, it was not a long way from home, but it was far enough that I went and stayed at my mum's last night so that I didn't have to travel in the morning. It was quiet. It was, a very, very, very different demographic. I didn't get the greatest spot. So it was sort of in the middle of the main shopping area. And it's like, I don't know, for want of a better phrase, it was like a town square kind of thing. It was the big open space with cafes and supermarket around it, and a big, not a convention centre, but a big auditorium where they have dance recitals and stuff, plus a massive aged care facility. So Yeah, it was interesting. Lots more dogs, lots and lots and lots more dogs, which makes sense because in my regular area, there's particular cultural groups that don't keep dogs as pets. So yeah, that was interesting to see all the fancy little oodles of some sort, or labradoodles and cavoodles and all that kind of thing. Um, as far as people go, there were lots and lots and lots looking and touching and squeezing and oohing and ahhing. And you can pretty much tell straight away who's just going to poke and prod and ooh and ah and walk away. So kids, yeah, they were kids. They weren't especially cashed up kids, which is, again, fair. They're not long out of school holidays. So as far as sales go, just to refresher, last week was just last week was bizarre for a whole other reason. So last week was 51 sales and $500 ish, and the week before that was 41 sales and 50 $500. So like I've said before, my average is around mid 30s, and today I sold 26, so a little bit less than usual. I did change my pricing structure, so I know my prices are really low, and I'm just gradually putting them up a little bit by a little bit. I'm not going to go nuts and sell like some of the bigger channels do. I just don't have that kind of I don't have access to that kind of community. So I'm going to keep my prices reasonable. As I've said, it's not a business. It's just a way to keep myself busy. And if I can sell the things, then that lets me buy more yarn and make more things. So I'm kind of just selling them to make room for making more things. Plus making back the stall costs and the yarn, make back the yarn costs and the travel costs and things. So it was a pretty decent day. So if we have a look at what sold today, and again, I'll try and put the photos up for you to see pictures of what went. 7 key rings, and I had those in batches of 3 again. One dad did a deal, so he got 4 at a slightly cheaper price, which is fine by me. So I'm definitely going to, after last week selling 8 and this week selling 7, I'm going to definitely have to restock some key rings in the meantime. The lucky dips, I was a bit, do I put them out, do I not? Glad I did, because I sold out. So 7 lucky dips all went, and they all went to children except to one adult who was taking one home for somebody else. I only saw one person open theirs. I don't know what she got, but she looked inside and Mum said, "Oh, wow." So hopefully they were happy with that. I am definitely going to have to specifically make for lucky dips. They were just to get rid of my pocket size, but now I've run out of appropriate pocket size that I can put in there. As I've said before, I don't want to put the bright pink things in, and I'd like to keep them fairly neutral. So I'm leaning towards using those plastic googly eye rings to build on some monsters, octopuses, frogs, whatever. But definitely keep the lucky dips going. People like those, and I did put the price up a little bit because of the materials that's going in there. So the googly eyes aren't free. Got to cover the cost of those, plus the yarn, plus the time, and the bags and the stickers that go on the bag. Anyway, you get it. There's more to it than just putting a thing in a bag. So yeah, 7 key rings, 7 lucky dips. Slinky worms, 2 slinky worms went, which is good because I don't think I sold any last time. So that was 2 little boys. They were only allowed to spend $10, and I put the slinky worms up to 10, so that was good. My small things, they were a little bit spare today, so I only sold 3 of the small things. So a pink leggy frog, a yellow axolotl, and a yellow duck. So I'll probably remake the yellow duck because they do tend to go quite well. Yellow axolotl, maybe. And I was just saying to Tracy the other day that those jumping spider things, I made one and nobody gave it a second glance for a few weeks, and then today someone took it. So that was my only mid that sold today, was the jumping spider. So that one went. Back to my smalls, the homeless kitties. So they're just like little tiny loaf kitties. I've showed you those before. They're, little ones. They never really sold until I put them in a basket labelled homeless kitties, and they went as soon as I started doing that. Yep, they go really good. Today was 4. So a white and brown combo one, the Aldi pink variegated that looks like fruit salad to me, and then a couple of pastel ones, which from memory I think were made out of the Aldi yarn as well. So they're nice and easy. I can whip up a few of those in my lunch breaks at work. So, well, I mean, I can do one a day. So that'll get those sorted out. I don't really need to restock them because I do have maybe 12 to 15 I think I've got left. So not too bad. So in my smalls altogether, that was 7 different things. So okay with that. The one mid spider went. Out of my chunks, I sold a blossom. Not my original blossom that is in the photo on the pattern, but another blossom that I made, slightly different flower crown. This one was made out of pink, I want to say pink glitter, but I could possibly be, yes, because the other one's purple. So I made it out of pink glitter. Little girl came in and just zeroed in on that, and Dad's like, yep, sure, let's get it. So when she found out that she could wear the little flower crown, she was even happier. So that was nice. And then a blue brontosaurus. That was funny. A lady came in with a almost toddler in a pram and just said, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And the kid's like, no, 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 that. And Mum's like, oh, do you really want the dinosaur? What about this? What about this? Kid's like, no, that. And so she ended up getting the dinosaur, and as soon as Mum gave it to her, she shoved it in her mouth. And I'm like, yeah, you're definitely buying that. You're definitely buying that dinosaur. So a blossom and a blue brontosaurus, which is great because I'll definitely make another one. It took forever to sell, but I'm going to make another one. I'm going to try and do a better job so that it actually stands up, because this one just would not stand up. It just kept tipping forward on its face, which is not a good look for anybody. Out of my fancies, absolutely nothing. Nothing, not even that flippin' bear that I made yesterday with the hood on. No fancies at all. They got a lot of squishing and a lot of mushing, but yeah, nothing out of my fancies. One pictus, which is my pickle cactus, and you may have seen I'm pretty sure. Anyway, there'll be a picture. The little animals that I make, and I put 4 slinkies on for their legs, so I've called them springies. A springy frog went, and they got more attention than anything else, which is really funny because I put out a testicle for those not too long ago, a while back, and only about 3 people put their hand up for that, and one of them just made it, sent me a photo, and didn't communicate in any other way. Other people, really tried their best with it, and I thank them. I ended up pulling the pattern and not doing anything with it, but they're going pretty well at markets. So yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely going to make some more of them myself, but apparently it's just not a pattern that anyone's interested in, and that's okay. I'm okay with that one. I'll just keep making them for me. No amazing stories other than I think I already said, my parents dropped in and hung around for a bit. My mother grabbed a big fat pig and tucked it under her arm and went for a walk around the markets, hoping that someone would look at it and say, where did you get that? I don't know if that worked for her or not, but points for trying. Will I go back again? Don't think so. Because it's just so far to go. It was just a little bit too far. It doesn't really do much better than the markets closer to home, and it's more expensive. So only $10 more. It was like $60. So today, and I'm going to probably forget to do this part again. Today was 26 things and $330. So that's not bad. Really, it started out so slow that I wasn't actually even thinking I'd get there. Yeah, it was. It turned out being not too bad at all, but you definitely won't go back. Pretty sure I definitely won't go back. Some other things that happened while I was there, a lady came around and she said, oh, look, I'm organising 2 school fetes, and you've got, I think you'd be great. And so she took my card and she said she'd email me tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not sure that I'll do that because it's actually in the same area, but it'll take me about the same time to get there, but it's on a Friday night, and generally they're only like about 2 or 3 hours, and it's just not, if it takes me 2 hours to set up and then to have it for 2 hours and pack up for an hour, I don't know. I'm really not sure. So I'll wait till she sends the email tomorrow, and I'll have a look at what the costs are and what's involved, and I'll think about it, but I'm probably pretty sure I'm going to say no. Also, the reason being that, looking at my calendar here on my iPad, and I also broke my glasses today too, because of course I did. Today's the 2nd of November, so I've got another market on the 8th, That's a local one, not my original regular, but my new regular in the next suburb over. Then on the 16th, which is a Sunday, I've got another one at Campbelltown, which is the one I went to with Victoria a few weeks ago. Then after that, I've got the Hope Point Church Markets, which was my first big one earlier this year in March or April, I think it was, and I did really well there. And then on the 29th, I've got my regular one. So that's me every weekend in November. For December, I've only got something on the 13th, and so like that gives me 1 week off, and then these ones on the 13th. I'm doing a nighttime one with Victoria on the 13th. I think that's a Saturday night, so that's from 6 till 9. So we'll see how that goes. But then we've also got a market. So earlier that day, my regular one that I go to at Revesby and the next suburb over at Panania are both on at the same time. So then I've sort of got to decide, do I want to do one of those in the morning and then go to this one at night, or just save up and go to the one at night? Because I know when I did that date last year at Revesby, it was absolute garbage. I took, I don't know if I've got the record of it in my book. Let me check the book. May, August Revesby, October Revesby, December Revesby. Okay, so 33 things and $234. It's okay, but it wasn't great. And it was like a high number of 33 because it was loads of key rings. Like it was loads of key rings and really small price things. So that was a super duper slow day. Not sure if I would do that again, but I probably will. I don't know if I want to do 2 in one day, but like I said to Victoria, the car's packed. Why not? So thinking about that anyway. That's markets if I can get there, because when I started my car this morning, it started a little bit slower than normal. And then after the markets, I went and got in my car and it was fine, and I brought it into the site. And the site, like I said, was like a town square, and they actually have to remove the bollards for you to get in and out. So you have to be out by 2 because they have to put the bollards back up. So I packed everything in my car, got in the car, thought, yay, time to go home, and go me, I packed up really quickly. But my car wouldn't start. And it wasn't doing that click flat battery thing. It was doing some really funky stuff that I have never heard my car do before. And then some weird lights on the dash that have never been on before. And I Googled to find out what they are. And it's something to do with a security system has been triggered. And it's probably the starter motor. So I don't know. It's in the garage at the moment. I'm pretending nothing's wrong with it. And then I will go and get in the car tomorrow and go to work. Hopefully, I'll have to get it to a mechanic at some point. But I don't want to mess around because 4 weeks worth of markets, and I don't want to be stuck. Like today, I would have been stuck in the middle of this space waiting for the NRMA, the road assistants, to come. Meanwhile, they need to lock the gates put the bollards up by 2 o'clock. So it was a bit of a disaster. And I went over to the lady and I said, look, I've got an issue. My car won't start and I'm parked in here. And she walked over with me and I said, look, I'm just going to try it one more time. I've already tried it like 3 or 4 times, and I just try it one more. And the bloody thing started, of course. So I nicked off home as quick as I could. So everybody, please cross your body parts that I'm not going to be spending all of November, December's market money on a new starter motor, which I probably will be. It's definitely not a flat battery. I know what a flat battery sounds like, and it ain't a flat battery. So starter motor, maybe alternator, I don't know. I don't know much about new cars because they've all got computer stuff in them. I've been struggling to do some specific making because I'm low on certain colours. Like I've got no good browns or anything, so I'm going to have to be a bit picky and choosy about what I make over the next week. I'm probably not going to make anything for my fancy chunk section because they're big, they cost more, and people are not looking at them so much, although they did go really good down at Campbelltown. So I don't know. I'm very undecided. I don't like making decisions. You may have noticed. Anyway, I have nothing much else to tell you about, so I will probably leave it there. As far as markets goes, it's been a really bizarre week with Bundle Guy from last week, new market and stuff today. It's all feeling a little bit odd. And then there's also the gamble on will my car start tomorrow when I get back into it. I don't know. Anyway, life, how exciting is it, right? When the biggest thing you got to worry about is car troubles. So I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you again for joining me for a market recap. It was a surprise market. It was a bit of an iffy spot, but I think it kind of paid off a little bit, but not enough for me to want to go back again unless they offered me a different position. I definitely would not go. And before I go, rambling again, they offered me one spot which was around the other side of the buildings, and it turns out that that's where people who had secondhand junk stuff were. So I'm glad I wasn't there. Now I'm done. And again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for trying out my channel. Please subscribe if this is something that you think you might like to watch again. And any other channels that you're watching, please give them a like and a bit of a follow as well. There will be another market recap next weekend, fingers crossed, because there's been some pretty crappy weather the last week. I know up in Queensland they've had some big hail and lots of damage. We had a storm here that I completely missed because I can't really see the sky from in my house, so I didn't realise we'd had a big thunderstorm. But yeah, weather permitting, market next weekend, market for the next 4 or 5 weeks, possibly some more in between because I'm just torturing myself, why not? But it will make up for not having any markets through the end of December and all of January. So yeah, tickets are booked on a holiday too in January, so that'll be lovely, and I'll tell you about that later on, I guess. So take care. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you again next week. See you later.